Yo, how's it going everybody? Chadley here and welcome back to another New World video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing off pretty much my fire staff build that I have been running with. This is kind of our middle of the road build. So right now I'm level 42, almost 43. And otherwise, leveling to this point, I've used pretty much this setup. I've tried a couple different options, but otherwise, I'm going to show you exactly what I've been using and what you guys should be striving for, just so you guys can get as close as you can for our endgame build once I get there. Right here is a screenshot of a war I did earlier today. So as you can see, it is definitely a build that puts out a ton of damage. I led our team in damage, most likely the entire match, except for like the siege turret people on defense. That's, I think, the only people who could beat that setup. Real quick before we jump into the video, make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch. We stream basically every single day. That's where I stream this war that the screenshot was from. So if you guys want to see more wars like that, ask me any questions, anything of that nature, make sure you guys go follow on Twitch. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this build. But now, starting off with our weapons, we're going to be looking at our fire staff. Now, just try to get a fire staff with as much intelligence as you guys can. Just keep whatever one pretty much does the most damage. You guys can obviously make that choice as you are moving along the game and getting different fire staffs. Now, if you can socket a gem on there, I've really been liking the brash gem, which is the onyx, because it does more damage to targets with full health. This goes great with Pillar of Fire. You guys can do crazy one-shots on pretty much all mobs. I've tried a couple of the other ones and like say damage when your stamina is not full or extra damage when your health is full. It's going to kind of depend on your situation. But overall, I've really liked the brash gem. Now, I think the thing that I've experimented most with this setup is our secondary weapon. And right now, I've really been loving a hatchet. Now, the only thing with the hatchet is I would not use it unless you get one with a gem slot, because to make this viable with our intelligence setup, we need to be putting a gem on it that converts damage into an element. I personally like lightning damage because ancients are resistant to our fire staff. So I want something that's strong against the ancients, and lightning is the element to do so. You guys can get hatchets with a gem very easily if you just buy it from your faction. Otherwise, if you don't have a hatchet with a gem slot, just use any old life staff. That's pretty much what I used before the hatchets. We'll get into a little bit more why I like the hatchet so much once we're looking at our skill trees with our weapons. But overall, the hatchet just provides so much utility and actually puts out pretty darn decent damage. So then before we look at those skill trees, let's go ahead and just look at the armor. Pretty much, I've been keeping whatever armor that has pure intelligence rolls that I can. Like some of these items are still pretty old. I've actually replaced some of them. This one, before I got this one today, I think it was like a level 20 item or something like that. It's still a level 20 helmet that I've kept the entire time. I haven't really had any issues, so don't feel like you need to move up to a higher level item right away. You guys can just do the snapshot. So equip a higher gear score piece and then re-equip your old piece of gear. That way you guys can keep getting higher gear score items, but still keeping the attributes that you want. And yeah, another example right here, our boots are only level 22 and I'm 42, almost 43. So don't feel like you need to constantly be changing out the gear. Just try to look for those pure intelligence rolls. Also with our armor, as you guys notice here, you want to end up in the medium category. This way we still get the 10% bonus damage. And then also we get 3 dodges, which is incredibly important once we get over to our attributes. I'll explain it a little bit more over there. But pretty much what that's going to do is allow us to always have mana. You pretty much are never going to run out of mana once you hit 200 intelligence. To hit medium category, just put on as much heavy as you can, and then otherwise light or mediums in the other slots. I don't have this completely optimized at the moment. I'll make a separate video with all the different combinations you can do for the 3 armor type values and show you exactly what you can do to maximize your armor while still maintaining the category that you want to be in. And then the same thing goes for jewelry. Just try to go for those intelligence rolls, and if you guys are feeling a little bit squishy, you can get some constitution if you want to. Now right now my fire staff is level 14, about to hit 15. It's probably gonna hit 15 here during this video. But our main skills that I'm using right now, and the only 2 that I'm using, is Pillar of Fire and Fireball. As I'm leveling it up, I will go and get Burnout, like I've said in our progression videos. But otherwise, the other skills I have taken is all the tier 1s, so Spell Focus and Fiery Restoration. I grabbed Clear Mind, Clear Casting, Spell Slinger. Like I've said in the progression, Flare is the most important skill in this skill tree to me. So make sure you guys grab Flare as soon as you possibly can. And then obviously Prophet of a Fire God to combine with Spell Slinger. These 2 together, you guys are going to be critting very, very often and hitting incredibly hard. And then once you can get the capstone runes of Helios, grab that as well. Free 30% damage when you're standing in that rune. And then as I level up, I'm going to be grabbing Pyromania and let it burn, and then eventually Burnout and max out Burnout, because this as a mobility skill is just way too good. If you guys don't want any mobility, you can go for Incinerate if you want and just go pure damage. But to me, the mobility is incredibly important. Now, for the newest addition to the setup, it is the hatchet. I started using this thing less than 48 hours ago, and it's already level 12. This thing has been so huge for me. It has made questing so much faster because you get speed boosts all the time when you use Berserk. You can avoid death, and overall, once you get a damage conversion gem on it, it is just incredibly strong. This thing is going to be a great secondary weapon for the setup. So pretty much what I did with this weapon is pretty much maxed out Berserk as soon as I could, because at the end here, while in Berserk, your attacks are uninterruptible. This is great for enemies like alligators. If you guys have ever fought one, they knock you down all the time. This will prevent them from doing so, and you can just burst them down with your axe. It's really, really nice. Otherwise, I kind of just grabbed the other passive skills around here, and then the capstone Defy Death. This makes it so if you guys are running through any higher level zones, you have a little bit better chance of actually not dying. This will make you avoid death, which is really cool. Now, I've tried these two skills, Raging Torrent and Feral Rush, but I don't really like them that much. Honestly, I just kind of spam the light attacks. Normally, I'll start with the heavy attack to get Relentless Fury here, and then I'll just spam my light attacks. I think what I'm going to be doing as I level this thing up more is I'm going to be grabbing Rending Throw so that I can make targets take even more damage. I'll throw this first, then go in with Berserk and just burst them down. And then finally, for our attributes, there's really nothing special going on here. You're just going to want to max out intelligence as much as you can. Just focus everything in there. I really don't have too much of an issue surviving. I still have a decent amount of health, especially with just like one jewelry piece. Being in Constitution, I got 14 coming from that. So that is pretty much enough for me. It gets the job done. And then otherwise, like I said, with the medium armor category, right here at 200 intelligence, we get 10 mana after a dodge. And with the medium category, like I said, we get 3. So that's 30 mana per stamina bar. And it's incredibly easy to maintain your mana, and you'll almost never run out once you hit this node. And then the other reason why we want really high intelligence is because of the gem that we put on our hatchet. This is going to convert 30% of the damage, and that scales off our intelligence, as we can see from the card right here. And since intelligence is way higher than our strength here, this is going to be what it scales off of. So a little trick you guys can do with Berserk, because I highly recommend you use Berserk all the time for just regenning health between fights, and then also for moving around quicker. What you can do is activate it and block really quick, and it will cancel the animation, but you still have Berserk active. You can also do a dodge after you do the block, and you can just get going quicker. It's pretty much like you just never activated that skill. There's really no downtime to it, so it's really nice if you want to use that animation cancel. Let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay here and show you guys exactly how to play this setup. All you guys are going to be doing is activating Pillar of Fire to start engagements, and then heavy attacking and using Fireball when you can. So just to show off, you're going to start with Pillar of Fire. It is really good because you can hit multiple times, as you guys saw right there. If enemies are moving just a little bit, it can sometimes hit them multiple times, and I've had it hit enemies maybe 3 times. So the amount of damage you put out with it is kind of crazy. It's all kind of dependent on the enemy type. Sometimes it will happen more or less depending on what enemy it is. Otherwise, in between Pillar of Fires, all you guys are going to be doing is heavy attacking, so you can get free casts and also cooldowns, and then using your fireballs when you can. And then in between engagements is when I'll pull out the hatchet, or if I'm fighting ancients, this is going to be the main weapon I use. But otherwise, here is that animation cancel that I was showing you. Right there, you can just keep going and just get going right away. And then here, you can see the damage conversion type. Now, unfortunately, he used his little block thing, so I'm not going to be doing that much damage to him. But right there, we hit 1100 damage on just that one swing, and it's not even that good against him. Only the slash is good against him. But the amount of damage you can put out with the hatchet is pretty nuts, as long as you have high int and a damage conversion gem on it. But that's pretty much the gist of the gameplay with this build. Just activate Pillar of Fire first, you'll one-shot them, and if somehow you do not, just activate a fireball and some heavy attacks, and they will stand absolutely no chance. You're going to be hitting thousands of damage as you guys are going along and getting better and better gear. And I did just want to reiterate, you don't have to use the hatchet if you don't want to. I personally think it's one of the best weapon types in the game. I've been loving having this as a secondary weapon. But like I said, if you don't have that gem slot, use a life staff or anything else there, and you'll be good to go. Also, for PvP, the Ice Gauntlet is amazing. That's what I actually used in the war. I don't have to worry about healing or speed really in a lot of those war setups. And the Ice Storm within the Ice Gauntlet is really good for debuffing enemies. So I'll cast that, swap back to my Fire Staff, and then just go to town with fireballs and such. Yeah, guys, that's basically our middle of the road Fire Mage build. If you guys did enjoy the video and found it helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up on it to let me know. It really does help me out. Also, consider subscribing for more New World content. If you do have any sort of questions, anything at all, make sure you guys come over to Twitch and ask me. I'm happy to help out. I love helping you guys out with these mage setups. But anyways, thank you all for watching this far, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.